7th place. Out of more than 500 entries on the TechEmpower board, a Rust framework called Axum finishes 7th in the world at serving database-backed HTML, 1.1 million responses per second. Not JSON blobs, actual HTML pages, rendered from rows in Postgres on a single machine. Now scroll that same board down to 409th place, 38,700 a second. Same benchmark, same test, same Axum, 29 times slower, with the framework held constant. The only thing that changed was the Postgres driver, swapped for the one you would actually reach for on a Tuesday. So when a thread tells you HTMX plus Rust is absurdly fast, the question worth asking is which of those two numbers is going to be yours. 3 things in the next 12 minutes. Where the speed physically comes from, which number your app actually gets, and the 3 walls that push teams back off the stack. Start with the stack because it is smaller than the noise around it. 2 moving pieces, and a wire format the browser has understood since the beginning. HTMX is 1 script tag, 16,532 bytes zipped. I pulled it off the CDN this morning and measured it myself. What those bytes buy is a handful of new HTML attributes: hxGet, hxPost, hxTarget, hxSwap. Put one on a button, and that button can talk to your server on its own. The server answers with HTML, the finished markup, not a payload your client has to assemble. HTMX finds the element you named, swaps the fragment in, and stops. There is no virtual DOM to diff and no client state tree to keep in step. On the other end sits Axum, from the Tokio team, the same people who wrote the async runtime most Rust servers already run on. MIT licensed, version 0.8.9. 399 million downloads from crates.io, 26,500 stars. Somebody pushed a commit to it 2 days ago. This is not a weekend project, and the piece that welds them together is a small crate called Axum HTMX. It reads the HX request header, so one root can hand a full page to a browser and a bare fragment to HTMX. Underneath both of them, Tokio, 827 million downloads, Hyper, 792 million. You are not the one finding the bugs in that layer. Now the speed. I want to be precise here, because absurdly fast is 3 different claims wearing one coat. How many requests a box can answer, how long one page takes to build, and how much work the browser is left holding afterwards. Throughput first. The test that matters on that board is called Fortunes, and it is the only one that does what your app does: read rows out of Postgres, sort them, render an HTML table, send it. Round 23, physical hardware. The tuned Axum entry, 1,114,000 responses a second. Raw node with a handwritten Postgres client, 283,000. Express, 172,000. Go with Gin, 110. Fast API, 109. Rails, 42. Django, 31. Laravel, 16,500. So where does a Rust server find that headroom? Start with the one people stop noticing. There is no garbage collector, no pause, and no heap scan arriving halfway through somebody's request. Tokio spreads work across every core and steals tasks off busy threads. Hyper parses HTTP without copying the bytes, and when a handler returns, its memory is already gone. No collector has to come looking for it later. The second place is the template engine, and this is where the numbers stop looking like web numbers at all. Askama does not read your template at runtime. It reads the file while Rusty is running and turns your HTML into Rust source code, which then gets optimized like any other function in your binary. Their benchmark renders a small page, 4 teams, their scores, escaping, 1 conditional. Askama finishes it in 109 nanoseconds. Nanoseconds. The same page through Mini Jinja takes 2.6 microseconds. Terra, 3.9. Handlebars, 5.3. Roughly 48 times the work for identical markup. Scale it up. 100 by 100 table, 10,000 cells. Askama, 70 microseconds. Handlebars, 3.5 milliseconds. You, rendering the same grid on the server, 3.1. And now I have to take that away from you because 109 nanoseconds is a beautiful number that will not change your afternoon. Put it beside a real request. Someone on mobile, 2 cities away. DNS, a TLS handshake, the trip out and back, a query on the way through. Call it 30 milliseconds and that is a good day. 30 milliseconds is 30 million nanoseconds, which puts your template render at under 4/10,000ths of 1% of what that person waits for. So the fast template is not what makes this stack fast. What it does is stop rendering from ever being your problem, a smaller, duller, more useful promise. The real time sits in the query, the network, and whatever the browser does after the bytes land. That last one is where HTMX earns its keep, because look at what a React page does once the HTML arrives. Download the bundle, parse it, rebuild the component tree in JavaScript, then walk markup that is already on screen and attach handlers to it. That last step is hydration, and your user is staring at a page that looks ready while it happens. An HTMX page skips the whole sequence. The HTML that arrives is the HTML that renders. The parser doing that work is written in C++ and has been tuned for 30 years. The size gap is real too. React plus React DOM zipped is 47,066 bytes. HTMX is 16,532. About a third. And that is before your router, your state library, and any of your own code. None of this is theory. Back in 2022, a French company called Context tore out 2 years of React, rebuilt the same product on Django templates in HTMX, and read the numbers out on stage at DjangoCon. 21,500 lines became 7,200. 255 JavaScript dependencies became 9. The build dropped from 40 seconds to 5. First load time to interactive went from 2 to 6 seconds down to 1 to 2, and browser memory fell 46%. My favorite number from that talk had nothing to do with speed. Before the port, they had 1 front-end developer, 2 back-end developers, and 1 who could do both. After it, the whole team was full stack. Keep the scale in proportion though. HTMX pulls about 774,000 NPM downloads a month and 48,000 GitHub stars. Next.js sits at 141,000 stars. This is the small side of the internet, and it knows it. In January, an engineer named Rodolphe Trujillo wrote up what he built on this architecture, the port configuration system for the Paris 2024 Olympic network. Thousands of Cisco switches, camera feeds, and backup links across a whole city. The original estimate was 18 months. He delivered it in 9 weeks, on his own, on Django and HTMX, and then reused the same application for the Tour de France the year after. That is the part of hypermedia that gets undersold. The win is rarely raw throughput. It is headcount, 1 codebase instead of 2, and 1 person who can finish a feature end to end. The survey numbers agree, at least on taste. On the 2025 Stack Overflow survey, Axum came second most admired web framework out of 28 at 76.4%. Phoenix took first at 79. React sat at 52, Next.js at 45. Then look at usage on that same survey. React, 44.7% of developers. Axum, 2.8. 3/4 of the people who have touched it want to keep using it, and under 3 in 100 have touched it. Which brings me back to the 2 numbers I opened with, because I still owe you an answer. Axum appears on the Fortune's board 4 separate times. 1,114,000 with a hand-rolled Postgres client, 336,000 on MongoDB, 67,000 with Deadpool pooling, 38,700 with SQLx, the crate nearly every real Axum app in production actually uses. 1 framework, 4 rows, 29 times between the top of them and the bottom. Almost nothing in that spread is about Axum. Your throughput is decided by your driver, your pool, your query plan, and how many round trips 1 page costs you. And 38,000 a second is still enormous. That is 3.3 billion page views a day off 1 box. If your product needs more than that, you already have a performance team, and you are not taking architecture advice from a video. There is a footnote, and it is a sad one. TechEmpower archived that benchmark repository in March. Round 23 is the last round there will be, so the scoreboard the industry argued over for a decade has stopped moving, which leaves measuring your own app on your own hardware as the only number that ever mattered. Rust bills you too, and it bills in seconds. The compiler team ran a performance survey with more than 3,700 responses. 55% of them wait over 10 seconds for an incremental rebuild after a code change. Worse, of the people who stopped using Rust altogether, 45% listed compile times as one of their reasons. Whatever you save on the server, some of it is paid back at your desk, every day. Now the 3 walls I promised. These are not my opinion, they come out of HTMX's own documentation, written by the people who maintain it. Wall 1 is interdependent state. When changing one thing changes 12 others, and which 12 depends on the data, you are shipping a diff engine over HTTP. Their own example is Google Sheets. Type a number into one cell and formulas recalculate right across the grid. Asking a server which cells moved is the wrong shape of problem. Wall 2 is interaction that happens per frame. Google Maps redraws while your mouse is still moving, and no request budget on Earth survives a drag handler. If the interaction is continuous, it belongs in the client. Wall 3 never shows up in a benchmark, your team. Your hiring pool writes React. Every copy-paste component library on the internet targets React. Fighting that is a real cost, and pretending it is free is how these migrations die in month 4. Outside those, the fit is wide and dull and profitable. Forms, tables that sort and filter, dashboards that poll, search as you type. Admin panels, most of what most of us are actually paid to build. And if one screen really needs client state, put Alpine on that one screen. HTMX does not ask you for a vow. One thing to know before you start, HTMX 4 is close. Beta 6 landed on the 23rd of July, 3 days before I recorded this, and the site is aiming at a summer release. It rebuilds the whole request layer on the browser's own fetch API, moves DOM merging onto idiomorph, and adds a status selector so a 404 can swap somewhere different from a 200. The attributes you learned today survive the jump. Starting is 4 crates and an afternoon. Axum, Tokio, Askama, SQLx. One main.rs, one templates folder, one script tag in your layout, and a container that lands between 5 and 12 megabytes because Rust links to a single static binary. My take, after all of that, this stack is absurdly fast at exactly the thing it was built for, which is turning a database row into HTML and then getting out of the way. It will not rescue a slow query, and it will not draw Google Maps. Everything else on that list, it does with about a fifth of the code. So pick one small internal tool, build it on Axum and HTMX, and measure it yourself, because that is the only benchmark that was ever about your app. Thanks for watching.